It is Sunday morning from a cold, rainy, and even a little bit snowy Athens, Greece. We actually had a little bit of snow, but I thought I would get a video out to everybody on this Sunday morning, and got a couple of things to talk about. The first thing we need to discuss is what appears to be another false flag attempt. This is according to the Russian Ministry of Defense. Their spokesman came out and said that they've captured a Ukrainian intelligence officer, and this officer told them of a plot. I think they also said they have documentation of this as well. I don't know if they released that documentation, but this Ukrainian intelligence officer told them of a plot to take out diplomats in Lviv, in the West Ukraine. Diplomats and the families of diplomats, and they were going to this is going to be done by like ultra super right nationalist groups, and they were going to take out diplomats, Western diplomats and their families, and then blame it on the Russians. And this was going to take place in the West Ukraine, and this intelligence officer, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, this intelligence officer said that Kiev was in the loop. Kiev knew about this, i.e. the Zelensky government. They knew about this, and they were cool with this. So this false flag, once again, according to Russia, to the Ministry of Defense, is this false flag was being prepared, or is being prepared, and yeah, the Russians are disclosing this information. Once again, I always say this is coming from the Russian Ministry of Defense. So, false flags. That's the only way that Zelensky can get out of this. That's the only way, is via false flags. And so, let's see. Let me go up here this way. I think I'm a little lost. But, all right, I know where I am. But yeah, so that was kind of the big news, because we've been hearing about chemical weapons attacks and the bio labs and bio attacks, but this is a new one. Taking out Western diplomats in the Lviv area and then blaming on the Russians. All right, it's an interesting false flag there. But we have that bit of news. Then we have the bit of news. But then we have the bit of news with China. This is big. Is Biden crazy enough to start putting sanctions on China? Do you guys think that the Biden White House is that hysterical and that unhinged that they may actually sanction China because they continue to try and pressure China into ditching Russia? So this is their plan B, or their plan C, or their plan D, after everything they've thrown at Russia and the Russian economy, and the fact that the Russian economy has withstood that pressure. I mean, the ruble is actually strengthening. So whatever they threw at Russia didn't work. And now I guess their next plan is to try and drive a wedge between China and Russia. The Chinese are not taking kindly to this at all. They issued a statement saying it's not going to happen. Xi Jinping told Biden it's not going to happen. Xi Jinping said, negotiations, get the sides talking. Let's put an end to this. Let's put an end to this conflict. That was China's position there. And I think China's position can also be summed up by this Chinese journalist. And I'm going to put her tweet right up here so everyone can read it. And I hope I'm getting this quote correct. And I don't know if you guys can see the snow. Yeah, I know. It's weak. This is Greece, though. It's weak snow. Very weak, but it's snow nonetheless. Her tweet says something along the lines of, yeah, let's fight a friend for you so that you can then fight us later. You can't bluff the Chinese. You know, Alexander says this all the time. If there's one one country you're not going to bluff, it's the Chinese. They're going to call you on your bluff. And that's what they're doing. They know exactly the game that Biden's trying to play. It's a very low level, low intelligence game that the Biden White House is trying to play. And the Chinese are onto it. It's not that hard to be onto it either. They know that if they ditch Russia, well, it's only a matter of time before the collective West goes after them. They know it. They know it. And they're not going to do it. And they're saying they're not going to do it. And I think that tweet pretty much sums up the position of China really, really well. And it's coming from a Chinese journalist. So, you know, I'm sure that she's a government journalist, I think, actually. So I'm sure she's got the support of the Chinese government to put a tweet out like that. But yeah, you know, let me destroy my friend. Let me take out my friend so that then you can destroy me a little later on. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll agree to that. That sounds good. That's a good plan. I'll do that. I mean, come on, everybody. Come on. My God. So you have that. That's a big story. But I really worry that the Biden administration is that unhinged and that crazy that they may actually resort to sanctioning China. If they do that, then, oh my God. Economic crisis, recession, depression. I don't even know. I don't even know what's going to happen to the global economy if the Biden White House does something that stupid. I mean, they've already done something incredibly stupid with regards to the sanctions they've imposed on Russia, including going after the central bank, which Wall Street and the Fed told Biden, don't do it. Don't do it. I wouldn't be surprised if it is Wall Street and the Fed that are behind the Hunter Biden stuff, telling the New York Times to dig up the Hunter Biden laptop and admit that it's real and all that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if Wall Street and the Fed are saying, that's it. Biden has to go. Biden has to go. Because he's losing us money. That's the bottom line. They don't want the dollar to implode. I mean, you know, I know everyone says all wars are banker wars, but not when the dollar's involved. Not when sinking the dollar is involved. So you have that bit of news. And the other thing I just want to say is, and I'm going to make this a quick video because it's raining, it's snowing now, and well, it's the 19th year anniversary of the U.S. occupation of Iraq. And on March 19th and 20th, shock and awe began. And in the first stages of shock and awe, you had 7,000 reports say you had 7,500 Iraqis killed, and that was just in the initial stages, the first part of the shock and awe campaign, where they bombed the living daylights out of Iraq, and then they moved in. They leveled Iraq, and then they moved in. But 19 years, and the U.S. still has a military presence in Iraq, and they justify that military presence in Iraq so as to justify their military presence in Syria, which they occupy illegally to this day. So they have those bases in Syria, and they need those in Iraq, and they need those bases in Iraq in order to continue to occupy Syria. So while everyone is clutching their pearls about Ukraine and it's terrible what's happening in Ukraine, well, remember that Iraq is still has a U.S. military presence 19 years later after shock and awe, and who knows how many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people were killed in that conflict. And you have the illegal occupation of Syria, a portion of Syria. And I talked about Syria yesterday, how they've won the war, and Assad is being led into the Arab League and the community again, and that's a good thing. But the U.S. still occupies Syria, and it's an illegal occupation. Anyway, everybody, I am going to sign out. Check out Alexander's channels. He talks a lot about China and the U.S. Xi Biden meeting, so check that video out. And go to theduran.locals.com. Take care.